There you go.
Okay, are you filming the board or the ceiling? Oh, my trick's pretty good. That was a bad angle. Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay, second fundamental theorem of calculus. This is the thing. It looks like gobbledygook. It is like the most mathy thing we're going to write all year. And the second fundamental theorem of calculus says, if I'm taking the derivative of an integral of a function from a constant to a variable, scary, all the math notations, what's that equal to?
The original function.
Just f of x. It's your original function. Okay, here's your original with the new variable. That's all. Seriously, for reals. Let's make that look like an x. And the other day we did like an example problem or two. We actually did the integration. We did the evaluation. We did the derivative. 5 minutes later, what did we get? The same function back, but with a new variable.
Yeah.
Then there's the extended version.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little weird, Daisy. Oh yeah! Yeah, the extended version. The derivative of an integral of a function from a constant to a new function. How did that work? Original function with the new one plugged in. Times g prime of x. And don't get this confused with chain rule, because it's not the chain rule. It is not the chain rule. The important things, a is your constant. G is the new function. Okay, and Karina, don't let me erase this for the rest of the period. This is the second fundamental theorem of calculus and the extended version. We're not going to prove either one of them, but we've done some examples that hopefully get you to believe, yes, he's not lying to me today. At least not today. So I want to give you 3 minutes completely on your own. Show me how smart you are. These are questions that are fair game. I'm on page 39 for the quiz on Tuesday. The quiz on Tuesday, I will not have the second fundamental theorem of calculus on the board. I have high expectations for all the friends. 3 minutes completely on your own. No talking.
Yeah.
If you're talking, I reserve the right to spit in your cookies between now and lunchtime. Don't do it.
What if you didn't order any cookies? Spit in your face.
I believe, Gerson, you left your unit guide here yesterday. Don't worry, everybody at home. You'll get to see Gerson on the way out.
No, you won't.
Shame that comes off.
Okay. We have less than 3 minutes now. Get going. That's yours, right?
It is not.
Would this one be yours?
This has my name, so yes it is.
Okay. No help from anybody. Left. There actually is only 1 minute left. Two out of 3, right? 2 out of 3, right? Everyone's missing the same one because they're not being careful. 2 out of 3 right. 2 out of 3 right. 2 out of 3 right. 2 out of 3. 1 out of 3.
Aww. That's sad. That's sad.
What?
Oh, wow.
That's just sad.
Some of you are not reading carefully enough. You're using this new tool in ways that you're not supposed to. Problem number 1. Derivative of the integral of a function from 0 to x. You know what that's going to be? Cos of 2 pi x. So that is d. How many of you have d? Of course you do. It makes you feel really smart. It's the second fundamental theorem of calculus. The derivative of the integral of a function from a constant to a variable. It's the old function with the new variable. Done. Most popular wrong answer for number 2. A. Why not A? Look at that problem. Read it. Notice anything missing in number 2. Something important. Andy, what's missing? The d over dx, which says to take the derivative. So this is not a second fundamental theorem of calculus question. You're not asked to find the derivative. Okay? If you were going to go to do this problem, well, read the notation. It says find the integral of sine t. What is that? Oh gosh. Integral of sine of t. Check it out on the poster if you need to. Integral of sine of t is negative cosine of t. Now evaluate from 0 to x. You're going to get negative cosine of x minus negative cosine of 0. You do need to know that cosine of 0 is 1. 1. Whoever said cosine of 0 is 0, funny. I'll tell the jokes here. Okay, negative cosine of x plus 1, that's e. Finally, number 3. Oh good, the derivative's back. The derivative of the integral of a function from a constant to stuff, more complicated stuff, is going to be the square root of 1 plus x squared squared, because all you do is replace the variable with the new function. But a lot of people forgot one last part. Times the derivative, and so that's going to be times 2x, and so what does that have to be? D. How many guys actually went 2 out of 3? And would have gone 3 out of 3 if you had read correctly this one. I put it in there on purpose. Everybody always gets that one wrong because you get so excited when you see integrals now and you're like, oh, it's just the original function. No. No. If it was, we would have been done with this unit on day 1. Okay, derivative of the integral of a function, that's when it works out. Okay, now for the scary questions. Yes, that's okay though, you get a partner. You have 6 minutes to do problems 1, 2, and 3. I have faith in your smarticle particles. Let's pull the cups out, please. Whoever is the most tired, you're in control of the cups. 6 minutes for 1, 2, and 3. No? Only half.
That's it. Right.
Yeah, we're just
There you go. There's that.
But it's fine. Yeah, but
Super.
if you don't find the
When you think you guys are knowing number one, let me know. I'll go on over and hopefully make you feel good about yourself.
I'm not sure anymore.
But it's just less than
Nice job. Keep going.
Is it the end?
Yeah, but doesn't d over dx mean that root?
Yeah, but it's not here. And it's asking
Well,
for
you're
right.
looking for f prime. So yeah, this is that one. So then you have to find
how can you go less than x and 1?
What do we get from the first one?
Can you go less than 0 and it's x2? I mean, it's right there.
Like you're over.
Wait, it's nameless.
And I guess I'm sorry.
Functions? Yeah. Alright, so no, you don't.
Because f of x is supposed to equal to the derivative.
So it is. So when you combine it.
Yes. This one over.
We're not running the sentence again.
We're not.
We're not, but it's not actually over.
But it is.
Can you change? Can you take the root?
It means find the derivative of 1 minus the derivative.
And change it back to. Okay. So that's the derivative.
Okay, I think I checked in with all the groups. Number one, the answer is B.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my one little nudge for all the friends in the room. F is this function, f prime of 2. That's a two-step process. Step 1, find f prime of x. Step 2 is plug in x equals 2. First, you have to find the derivative. Then you have to plug in the 2.
What does d over dx mean?
D over dx.
Oh,
Because f of x is this, so f prime of x would be whatever derivative is.
do that.
Be there in a second.
No, because this just means that whatever's in front of it is the derivative. See what happens this derivative of this.
Hit me. Well done. This is your thing, son.
So that right there.
He's doing so well right now.
Oh no, he was blocking you just
Sorry.
It is just like just plug into it. Yeah. But they have to find the F.
You're right.
This comes to like what you have to find the derivative. This is not a problem. Sometimes when you just plug into x, and then when you plug into plug it 2 times 2 is 4 2 times 2.
Oh my god. But it's like
Did you include DFT?
I just went from what do you I just plugged into 2x.
Oh, you don't get an answer.
I got a fraction.
So this is f prime of x. But I want f prime of 2. So you correctly found the derivative. The next step.
What if you isolate dt?
2 times 2. Where's that? 4
dt? What else? No, sorry.
All right,
Like you get
friends.
dt equals whatever. Just plug in whatever it equals to.
Number 2. Okay, side conversations are done. To find f prime of x, you need the derivative from 4 to 2x of the square root of t squared minus t dt. I didn't initially write the derivative, but you need to know that you're trying to find f prime. Most folks were able to successfully find the derivative, and they said, okay, what happens here? Derivative of the integral of a function from a constant to something else. Everywhere you have a t, plug in 2x. And then times the derivative, and what I saw from most places is we're good with this. F prime of 2, that's a second move. You need to find the square root of 2 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 times 2. And if you don't have the parentheses here, bad things happen. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 squared is 16. So you've got the square root of 12 times 2, so 2 square roots of 12. And I can tell you, 2 square roots of 12, G is the right answer. I would not be surprised at all if the College Board people this year decide to hide this answer from you. How? Ask an 8th grader. Destiny, how could you hide this?
I was gonna, you could like break it down so you can do 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, and then the square root of 4 would be 2, so you can do 2 times 2 square root of 3, so it will be 4 square root of 3.
Everybody okay? We've seen it, you've done it, it's a thing called 8th grade. You've probably blacked it out from your mind. Henry.
You didn't find the derivative of the actual function, like.
Because I'm not asking you to, well, the function involves an integral, and so the extended second fundamental theorem of calculus is what you're using. Because you're asked to find the derivative of the integral of a function from a constant up to some new function. It's got all the pieces, so you get to jump straight to the result. This is one of those things where I think a lot of you are like starting to snap to it, things are going well, and the rest we're going to get there. All right, I don't have time to do this last multiple choice question. However, if you did it correctly, you have D.
Yeah.
How many guys honestly had D for that one? Okay, couple of the folks. All right, we've got about 23 minutes left. I also want to just give you a heads up. We are probably going to have some visitors coming in a little bit. I don't know why they keep coming. They just do. They just do. I don't know if it's my criminal record. They're just checking in on me.
They want to learn from the master.
They want to learn from the. Thank you. Does that make me Yoda?
Yoda,
You know that was that was the sound of your grade going up so high, so high. I don't know why I just picked up your trash. Okay. All right. In case this job doesn't work out, I can go work at Luby's and tables. Hang out with the old people. All right.
got him.
So I think for the most part, shut up! I'm the one telling the jokes here. Okay. I think for the most part, second fundamental theorem of calculus, a lot of us are in a really good place if it shows up in the multiple choice. Okay, really exciting is it also shows up often on the free response. And so this is where we're going to spend the rest of the time. And it's going to look scary in the beginning, but trust your smarticle particles, you're going to be okay. So I'm over on page 41. Okay, questions like this almost always show up on the AP exam. Almost always show up on the AP exam. That ought to mean something to all of you. It does mean pay attention, but you should always pay attention. It means I would also maybe expect to see this in the future. Quiz. Maybe that quiz. Maybe the unit test. It's going to show up. Laura's like, fine, I'll listen. Okay, here we go. So the graph of the function f, shown above, consists of a semicircle and 3 line segments. We've been here before.
Yeah.
We've seen problems like this. G is a new function where G is the integral from -3 to x of f of t dt. For those of us in the business, G of x, we call this function defined by an integral. Function defined by an integral. Call it that if you want to. But you've got the graph of f, and Siraj Birch, man, he would write f all over the place to not get himself confused. G is this new function. G is the integral from -3 to x of f of t dt. Whatever that means, stay with me. I think we're going to be okay. Part A, find g of 0. G of 0. How the heck am I going to find g of 0? I don't have the graph of g. I have the graph of f. Flora, what do you think?
Would you replace the x with a 0?
Does that make sense? Right, g, you're being told, is this integral from -3 to x, whatever the x value is, of f of t dt. So according to Floor said, okay, plug in the 0. Well, gosh, now g of 0 is the integral from -3 to 0 of f of t dt. How do I find the integral of -3 to 0 of f of t dt? Area, right? This is an area computation. Because, Andy, a definite integral means area. So all I need to do is find the area from -3 to 0. Take a moment, get that done. Great.
No, I mean 2. Yes, 2 and 1.
Let's see, a trapezoid, area of a trapezoid, a half, base 1, base 2, times the height, and we should get 9/2.
Yep.
And all the friends are good?
Yes.
All right, good. Congratulations. You just picked up the first point. Now, before we leave part A, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so smart, I got 9/2. Now I need g prime of 0. G prime of 0 is a completely different calculation. And here's where I want to be careful, really, really careful. To find g prime of 0, it's a two-step process. Step 1, to find g prime of 0. The first step, Karina?
You have to find the integral,
Not the integral.
the
You want g prime of 0. The first thing that you need to do is find g prime of x. You need to find the derivative of the function. So g prime is the derivative of g. Well, g is this guy here. Anybody know what that is? The derivative of the integral of this function from -3 to x. Justy Bell? And Karina and Destiny. Sheila, what you got for me?
Can you use the extended second fundamental theorem and calculus?
Oh my god, you said all the right things. Why do you know it's the second fundamental theorem of calculus?
Because you need to find the derivative of the integral.
You need to find the derivative of an integral of a function from a constant up to a variable. We're good? Nice job, Sheila. So this is f of x. And I want to be really careful with my linking here. This is a function. I find this function by taking the derivative of the other function, and I get little f of x. So what's g prime of 0? G prime of 0 is just f of 0. Where's f of 0? Now I'm going to go to the graph, and f of 0, because this is f of 0 is 1. Okay? Last part, g double prime. Have a conversation with the folks around you. Use some smarticle particles. Be careful. G double prime of 0. Another two-step process.
Use the second one. Because the G of x
Okay. We saw this happen in a lot of groups. To find G double prime of 0, first find G double prime of x.
Yeah.
Well, what do we already know? We already know that G prime is equal to F. So what has to be true about G double prime is that G double prime is equal to F prime. You've established this connection. G prime and F are the same thing. You say G prime, I get to talk about F. So if G double prime, take one more derivative, is equal to F prime, then that means that G double prime is equal to F prime of 0. We have the graph of F. I'm asking about the value of F prime. Jackie, what do you got?
I was gonna say the 2, but second.
You want to go this way, but here's the problem. G double prime is equal to F prime. There's no integral showing up over here. This isn't a derivative of an integral of some stuff. What you got?
You can find the double derivative of the first one.
I want F prime of 0. What's the graph that we have? F. If I want you to find F prime, I mean find the derivative. I didn't give you an equation though, and we've been in this situation before. Here's F. What I want is F prime. The connection that I'm hoping somebody's going to make really soon is, what does F prime mean? What has that always meant? Slope. What's the slope at 0? Right? This guy here just says find the slope at 0. What's that slope? What's that slope right over here? I'm hearing it from a couple of different places. Some people are focusing on this part and they're like, oh, it's going to have a negative slope. But what's the slope at 0? There's something special happening at 0.
Isn't that a cusp point?
That's a cusp point. So what do we know about F prime? It does not exist. It's undefined because F has a cusp point. Cusp point. Spit on your neighbor. At x equals 0. Okay. Really tricky. This seemed to be pretty comfortable for most of the friends.
Yes.
I'd definitely pay attention over here. All right, these next couple of questions are just going to ask you to see what you can do. So I want to give you guys a couple minutes for B and C. I think you've got enough under your legs now. You can do this. Take about 3 minutes.
They have the ball. This is increasingly G prime.
It says say it like a boss, not say it like a gangster.
No.